Hello, my topic is violent video games are dangerous. Um, Problem slash solution, specific purpose. I would like my audience to believe that violent video games should be labeled as violent, and young teens should not be allowed to play it even with parental consent. My attention getter. Has anyone heard that violent video games are dangerous? Example, know how the number of school shootings has increased every year for the past 20 years. Well, have you ever wondered if parents allowing their children to play these violent video games could be linked to why some kids end up shooting up schools and others do not think about that for a second? Yes, before violent video games, there were school shootings, but now there are way more than there were before. According to Guilford Family Counseling, which was a rather large research study done in Singapore where gaming is prevalent, they found that children who play video games may experience an increase in aggressive thoughts, which in turn could boost their aggressive behavior. Credibility. In my extensive research, I have found that violent video games should be labeled only to be played with an adult present so that if a kid is confused or shows signs of violent tendencies, the parents, as the teachers of the family, can identify and nip it in the butt before it gets out of control. And since there is research that most video games that are violent tend to cause violent outbursts from children, but all they need to do is pay attention to the signs according to the research. If they do this, then they can prevent those violent outbursts in their children. And if they explain the video game to the child, then they should be able to prevent the video game from causing that child to have a violent outburst. Violent video games have not been fully researched on their effects on child development in early stages to show how young children playing these games affects who will commit violence in the future. Well, I'm gonna give a little background data on that. I played violent video games as a child. I did not go and kill nobody. But that was because I was raised to understand what I was playing was fictional and that it was not real life. It is the parent's responsibility to explain that to their child to make sure the child does not do something that he may regret or that he can never take back. Violent video games have not been fully researched on their effects on child development. Mental effects placed on young children. According to a team of experts at Rit-Ole, which is a website, racism and sexism are both the other huge problem created by those violent video games, building up arguments from all over the world. So, hence, in so many violent video games, you kill women, you're able to commit acts that you, by the law of the country of the United States of America, you cannot commit in the country. But you're allowed to commit these acts in those violent video games. Um, the video games are the main factor in creating and causing concerning issues of violence and racism, then it is really a big social issue. When children start to spend more time in the virtual world, they can start neglecting the real life social skills and can even start to act like violent person by inspired from these video games. So hence they can start to act like the people in the violent video games. If they spend too much time playing video games, they could lack social skills, lack being able, lack basic motor skills, which can lead to them acting out or having violent outbursts. Other than the research from above, no other research can be done to show how violent video games affect young children when they play these games. Summary: violent video games are the problem because they have not been reached enough or they have not been researched enough before allowing children, young children, 14 to 18 years old, or even 18 to 21, children to play the games, and they have not been researched enough.